So what might the American president do now? Our US editor, Anushka Stana, is in Washington for us. Anushka.
So, as so often with Donald Trump, he has taken to Truth social media to talk about all of this. He wrote a post in which he said he was addressing Iranian patriots. He told them to keep protesting, to take institutions, and in capped letters, as Porrick mentioned earlier, he said help is on its way. Now, he is in Detroit, the president, at the moment, and as you might expect, a journalist asked him what help. Listen to how he responded.
Just went through the roof.
You said to Iran this morning that help is on the way for protesters. What did you mean by that? What kind of help?
You're going to have to figure that one out. I'm sorry.
How many people have been killed in Iran?
That's the most terrifying. Those are the most terrifying words that you can ever hear from an American president, by the way. Okay. Help is on the way. Terrifying. Terrifying. Saying help is on the way while also adding additional sanctions or tariffs to other countries that are helping prop up like what remains of the Iranian economy shows exactly what kind of help is on the way.
Nobody's been able to give me an accurate number. I have heard numbers from everything's a lot. One is a lot. But I've heard.
It's so funny to do this next to fucking Jimothy Farley over here. Mr. Chinese EVs are going to steal our lunch money if they're ever allowed on U.S. soil.
Numbers much lower, and I've heard numbers much higher. We'll be knowing. We're probably going to find out over the next 24 hours. I think it's a lot.
So, look, no guidance there from President Trump. But what we do know is that he has spoken to his advisors. His national security team met this morning. Axios is reporting that his envoy, Steve Witkoff, has secretly met with the former Crown Prince of Iran, who is in exile. We know that they're considering sanctions against individuals. He's talked about a 25% tariff on those doing business with Iran, but there's also military options on the table. They tend not to want to go for broader military action at the moment, but we know he hasn't shied away from striking countries, Syria, Iraq. We saw what happened in Venezuela, Nigeria, and actually as we've been on air, he's been talking about how flawless his previous strikes on Iran have been. Of course, the risk with a surgical strike, as we have seen, is that it doesn't actually lead to regime change. And there's also the issue that Congress behind us are unhappy that they are not asking for permission. I went down earlier and I asked some Democrats, is Iran different for you? And what do you say to the Iranian people who want America to intervene?
The people of Iran are bravely standing up and speaking out against this brutal regime, but the president does not have the authority to go in, and this is part of this pattern.
There are many ways for us to support the Iranian people short of military action, because it's not in America's best interest to start a war with Iran. In fact, it's not even in the Iranian people's best interest.
Now, I should say there is precedent for strikes without congressional approval. Barack Obama did the same when he was president.
Can you honestly explain to me how your community can improve without discussing Iranian government mouthpiece while attacking ICE? Man was denying the massacre of protesters. He's a monster. Yeah, it's really cool if you're fucking hallucinating an alternative reality while you're watching, okay? I don't think, I mean, there might be some people in here that think that like the brutal suppression of protesters in Iran is appropriate or whatever, but it's far from the fucking majority. And it's certainly not my position either. And I've made my position very fucking clear. It's so funny though, that there is one group of people that is inconsistent here. One group of people that is inconsistent in this position, okay? Which is the American right. Talking as though they give a fuck about the Iranian population, specifically Muslims in general. They don't care about that shit at all. Let's be fucking real. And also simultaneously, defending Israel's death and destruction campaign, defending America's ruthless crackdowns on its own fucking protesters, while simultaneously going, oh man, I love Iran, we gotta free Iran. Get the fuck out of here. The reason why you have to maintain this position or like try to fucking find some sort of inconsistency, is because you recognize that your side is inconsistent here.
president here, but there are a lot of concerns about where all of this leads, whether a single strike, for example, on Iran would actually result in regime change or actually lead to more concerns down the road. And also a question about what is Donald Trump's motivation. Before Venezuela, he was talking about human rights. Afterwards, he hasn't mentioned the word democracy, only largely the word oil. And we know that America has strategic interests in Iran, not just around security, but also it is another energy-rich country. So the concern is, if there is a strike, as they are considering, what does the follow-up look like?
Anushka, thanks very much for joining us. Well, a short while ago, I spoke to Barbara Leaf, who served as Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs under Joe Biden and was Ambassador to the United Arab Emirates before that.
So I would guess.
Why is no one talking about the brutal regime in Turkmenistan? Because they are surrounded with friendly countries? Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I brought up the Gulf states as an example, because there is no protest in the fucking Gulf states, even though there is brutal repression similar to the Iranian government, but they're an aligned country, so no one gives a shit. And also, their economy is not fucking imploding. So the protests or the organized movements never actually take root in the country. That's it. It's that simple.
That the president has in mind, yes, some element of military action, presumably strikes on IRGC and other.
Regardless of motivation, the right is doing something that the left also agrees with. Can we just take the rare W for everyone? No. What the fuck do you mean? The right doesn't give a shit about the Iranian people. They're not saying free Iran because they actually want to free Iran. They want to fucking bomb Iran. What are you talking about? What kind of freedom will come from Donald Trump and his interventions in Iran? Are you that fucking delusional? We just went over this with Venezuela. Let me explain. No, dude. Also, the UAE population is tiny. A protest would be what, 20 people? What the fuck would the UAE population protest? More support for Israel? The UAE, the fucking Emirates are protesting. They want to do more pro-Israel. And they're not saying, they're saying the government is not sufficiently pro-Israel. Yeah, all 20 of the Emiratis are going to be protesting that they don't have enough Lamborghinis, and also there is not enough pro-Israel sentiment going on here. Okay, we need to we need
elements of the security forces, headquarters, arms caches, etc. But I think he's also got in mind to use psyops of various types and.
So you mean psychological
cyber
warfare? Just spell out what you mean by
exactly. The problem.
Much of the left doesn't understand liberalization will only have a marginally positive effect if it's even possible to implement, given the power dynamics within the RRGC, the Shia base, etc. I mean, some's got to give. If they don't do that, they're fucked. Okay, it's coming. What do you do? You just keep fucking killing people? America starves the Iranians, okay? And then the Iranians in the aftermath of that starvation and lack of access to like medical care or whatever, turn around and understandably get more and more angry. So then they fight back. They fight back in more militant ways, in more organized militancy. And then the government comes back in and kills another 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people, 40,000 people. Where does it end? The more hopeless the Iranian population feels, the more they will be willing to engage with Western intervention. That's why I keep saying something's got to give. It ends with all Mossad agents are dead. You are on maximalist copium if you think that all of the fucking protesters are Mossad agents, brother. Please. Please stop. This is what I mean. It's more nuanced. It's more complicated than that. It's not. That's crazy.
As we already see, and this was evident even before there was such a dramatic shut off and shut down of the internet, but there is a huge amount of disinformation in the air. So it's quite hard to discern what is real and what is not, but it's...
For the record, this isn't to say that there isn't like Mossad involvement, okay? Please. I mean, Mossad literally had a drone factory. I need you to understand something. Mossad had a drone factory inside of Tehran. And if you recall at the time, one of the things that I said was a big reason as to why there are so many fucking collaborators internally in Iran is not because they're all like fucking Shah dick riders or whatever. Far from it. It's because their friends were arrested or tortured or killed. So, of course, when you do that, people are going to look at that and go, all right, well, fuck you then. I'll work with whoever I can to do revenge. Okay? That's it. That's it. Like, what do you expect? Yeah, if you fucking kill someone's friend, okay, or their family members, they're gonna want revenge.
But I think he plans to stir the pot.
How risky is this? What's at stake here? And what is he trying to achieve?
In this region, you can stir the pot. The pot may boil over, but you don't know where all of that goes.
I think one of the things that Israel did this time around, and one of the things America did this time around, was just like openly say that they're intervening. You know, the Shah coming out, or the succession of the Shah coming out and saying like, oh, take it to the streets, or America saying take it to the streets, or Pompeo saying, Mossad, do your thing, you know? The reason why they did that is because when the fucking government hears that, they go, okay, now is the green light to kill even more protesters. And when you kill even more protesters, next time around, there's going to be even a larger number of protesters out there that are going to be even more violent. I think that's the reason why they were so overt with their interventionist rhetoric in a way that you normally don't see from Israel at all. Normally, Israel will keep quiet and be like, oh, in the aftermath, when the protests have quieted down, when the government has come in with the security forces and just like killed a bunch of people and arrested even more, they'll turn around and say, oh, free Iran, free Iran. But this time, it was different. This time, they straight up were like, go off, kings and queens. We're with you from the start. Ultimately, their goal is to turn Iran into a failed state, though.
And you may not get the government you want, which is not to say we should not be giving support to the protesters. He has shut off for the moment the diplomatic channel, made that very dramatic.
What would easing religious laws even do? People want quality of life. You're hemorrhaging the discontent to the best of your ability. If you offer people a fucking pressure valve, if you respond to their needs, because like this happens in China, right? China is a stable economy. It's a power. It's a power center around the globe. It's a very powerful country. It's the manufacturing base of the entire planet, right? But having said that, there are obviously moments of discontent in China as well. I actually just talked to the South China Morning Post about this, where like there are instances where, for example, the Didi drivers were frustrated with their work conditions, right? And then they fucking revolt. And what does the government do? First, they suppress the protests, and then they actually meet the demands. Same thing happened with the COVID zero policies. The intensity in which China was maintaining the COVID zero policies and the fact that people just didn't know when these shutdowns would end, for example, that turned into a major problem. People fucking protested, they took to the goddamn streets, and the Chinese government listened to those demands. So you have to, even if you have a more authoritarian structure in your governance, you still have to listen to the people when they take it to the goddamn streets. If you don't do that, and you think you can just keep hammering on and keep the repressive forces over and over again and meet the protesters with even more violence, then all you're doing is growing the protests. There is no way that you can maintain a government, especially when your economy is in the shitter due to American sanctions, without offering any sort of pressure valve to the population. You got the COVID protest chronology slightly wrong. The plan for opening up was already written and approved a week before the protest kicked off. Yeah, but it was obviously getting to a point because there was a lot of fucking discontent. That's the reason why they were, opening up at all. You do not understand Iran. The economical situation is not entirely the U.S. government's fault. Iranians do not want to be in some sort of war with the rest of the world. What are you guys talking about? People in Iran do not want this regime. That's why we're protesting in large numbers. Iranian here, the situation is so dire that people feel helpless and hopeless. They need support. I understand that. Okay? the common meta that the Iranian population has like also kind of taken hook, line, and sinker, mostly from Israeli and American sources, is that the Iranian government takes all the fucking funds from oil and gives it to the IRGC, which is true to a certain degree, and then they use all those funds to do wars overseas, like not overseas, but like wars in the region. That is the American position here. That is the Israeli position here, and unfortunately, with all of the economic instability, that's increasingly becoming the fucking Iranian position as well. I think ultimately, if the Iranian government wasn't utilizing the IRGC to fucking crack down on protests, they would not be as frustrated with the IRGC in general. This is one of the things that I was saying when I was talking about reforms in Iran that must take place. Okay?
Publicly evident today, publicly evident. I presume they may use a diplomatic channel eventually.
So how might Iran respond, do you think, if Donald Trump does take military action?
I think any punch that the Iranians try is going to be well overmatched immediately and be devastating. And they have no air defenses at this point. Those have been shredded. So they are very vulnerable. They also can't do external and internal at the same time. Their focus at this point is existential. It is
Israel's death toll estimate is at 5K. So where the fuck does CBS get the 20K number?
Is suppressing, containing these crowds.
So isn't Donald Trump right then to seize this moment of weakness in the regime?
We don't have a success record of any kind of regime change from outside.
Iran kills women who don't dress properly. Chinese spokesman Mr. Hasanabi. Iran kills women who don't dress properly. We place sanctions on them for the crimes against humanity and terrorist sponsorship. Shut the fuck up. America does not give a shit about like feminism. Please. Jesus Christ, you're such a fucking moron. Yeah, dude, I know. We're definitely sanctioning Iran because of its crimes against feminism. You can't be this fucking stupid, okay? Please be a little honest with yourself. Jesus Christ, fuck you, Hassan, dumb prick. First of all, I don't think this is appropriate at all. There's never been a moment where I've thought that the Iranian government was totally appropriate with morality police or any sort of fucking religious enforcement, you dumb fuck morons. It's not. But having said that, if you think that the American government gives a single fuck about Muslim women in Iran or the way that they are treated by their government, you are out of your fucking mind. That's why the Gulf states do not get a fucking fraction of the scrutiny that Iran gets. God damn, the average American is constantly engaging in this self-soothing pattern of behavior where they just keep telling themselves they're rocking back and forth, going over and over and over and over again, being like, no, we're doing this. We're doing the sanctions, not because we want to destabilize and cripple the only fucking country with the military power to actually resist against American and Israeli imperialism in the region, but instead because we want democracy for Iran. That's what you keep saying to yourself at a time when, ironically, Trump is not even fucking saying that. It's so funny. It's like, no, dude, you're delusional. You're fucking stupid. You're stupid and delusional.
By the U.S. in the region. You can go country by country and say what we were trying to achieve.
Do you not care about democracy for Iran? I do. I just don't think that it's going to come by way of American or Israeli intervention.
Was limited, perhaps, in 2011 in Libya, tried to prevent a terrible massacre that Gaddafi's forces were aiming to perpetrate. But in the end, it led to a decapitation of the regime, which led to chaos, which led to a huge vacuum into which all sorts of...
Yeah. This allows me, in order for me to believe the idea that like Americans are implementing democracy or trying to install democracy in Iran by way of sanctions, I have to believe that John Bolton is a third-wave feminist, okay? I have to believe that Mr. Grab him by the pussy Donald Trump is a third-wave feminist, okay? And I'm sorry, but I am not that stupid, okay? I say I'm a stupid guy, but you have to be a real fucking moron to believe that, okay? Terrorist where? You are a terrorist. I don't think this person is talking to me. I think this person's talking to the lady on screen.
You know, Trump attacked at least 7 countries last year, Venezuela and Syria this year. And this from the man who promised to end wars. What's going on?
Venezuela is a story that is still evolving. We still don't know the end point of that exercise. It was a law enforcement exercise. It was anti-narcotics.
Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, this lady definitely is a serious analyst that I must listen to seriously and sincerely, because America is doing law enforcement narcotics operations. Here, let's hear from the fucking big guy
They
himself.
walked away and they gave us a lot of money, but they did a great deal for themselves because their stock has gone up. As soon as we went in, Apple went in, Nvidia went in.
She's saying the exact opposite, Hassan. She's saying that the Trump admin excuses keep changing. Oh, okay. Well, I misunderstood it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm bored. Let's continue.
If you were a private guy, you'd say, "What do we get for doing it?"
I need to
Now,
hear it from the
I don't want
fucking
anything
mouth
for
of the
myself.
admin.
I want our country to be rich as hell. But with Intel, we made billions and billions of dollars, right?
So, Mr. President, on Iran, do you have a message for the leaders currently of Iran?
Yeah, the message is they've got to show humanity. They've got a big problem, and I hope they're not going to be killing people. And I'm going to have a report very soon. It would seem to me that they have been.
How are you going to platform the
badly
university professor who
misbehaving, but
receives the
that
regime
is not
propaganda and denies
confirmed.
everything, but you don't show someone who's a Persian journalist and have first-hand experience from the oppression? Please watch Masih Ali Nejad's interview with CNN or CBS.
Well, it was a disaster
We'll get to that later,
for Jimmy
Chatter.
Carter. They had all sorts of problems, and they
Chatter, we're listening to our Shah, okay? We're listening to our Ayatollah. We're listening to our Shah right now, okay? Big Dog is speaking. You be quiet and you listen, okay?
Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with the Financial Times, sir.
Oh, good. Well, it's a nice paper.
So are you committing not to sending
It's
U.S.
time for me to fucking platform a real American patriot.
You that. I don't talk about military strategy with a reporter, you know, even though I do like the Financial Times.
Secretary Bassett.
Are you consulting with our allies regarding Iran? What are they telling you, and why do you think the
Well, I'm not going to tell you what they're telling me. I don't tell you what they.
Why do you think the Iranian leadership continues to defy you, Mr. President?
You think they are?
Well,
it's only been a couple of days.
Hassan, have you seen the Khazriak hospital videos? That's one hospital in one city alone, 60 minutes of dead bodies on everything that I love. Wallahi billahi, 60 minutes of dead bodies. Do you still blame the sanctions? Brother, do you think I said that the sanctions killed those people? Are you fucking stupid? What is this position? Why is no one listening to what I'm saying? There has never been a fucking moment where I justified that, okay? I think it's horrifying. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you just hear what you want to hear? Wallahi, it seems like you just want to hear what you want to hear.
Really, you'd like to see it, but what we want to see is we don't want to see people killed, and we want to see a little bit of freedom for these people. These people have been living in hell for a long time. You know, that used to be a hell of a country. I have friends that used to invest in Iran, and they did well with their investments. It was a great place. The people were great. Even the leadership was good.
I've maintained the same position since the last time that there was any sort of fucking protest in Iran. If they continue increasing repression in the state, it's going to inevitably collapse. And that position is the same position that I have right now. This kind of stuff, this kind of shit, this kind of like violent suppression of protests that have become violent as a consequence of the last fucking version of this protest being suppressed by security forces is only going to get worse until the state fucking collapses. Okay? Especially when you have the American sanctions crippling the economy on the side and eating away at the popular base of support that exists for the Ayatollah. It's that simple. Okay? Something has got to fucking give. That's it. Something's got to give. As it stands, if the goal here is to maintain Iranian sovereignty, the thing that has to give is the IRGC's cruel ways and the security forces' cruel ways of fucking violently suppressing any sort of reasonable fucking take that the Iranian population might have. It's not going to work. That's it. It's not going to fucking work at all. Wall Street Journal, Iran's Gulf rivals warned the U.S. against strike on Iran in public. Gulf states have kept silent, but Iran's Arab rivals across the Gulf, led by Saudi Arabia, have been lobbying the Trump admin against a strike on Tehran after the U.S. warned them. Yeah, Bonzer Berry is probably seeing the same thing that I'm seeing, which is that there's not a lot of aircraft carriers in the region right now because they're too busy with fucking Trump's adventurism in Venezuela. And the closest like carriers or strike groups that are near Iran are in Japan right now. So I don't know what kind of striking is going to happen in Iran anytime soon. I mean, I guess they've shown that they can hit Iran from America if they want to. So, but they won't be able to defend the regional actors if they are not there. What about Israel aircraft carrier? Brother, if you think Israel on its own is capable of defending Israel, let alone the rest of the fucking region, you are out of your dang mind. Israel with American aircraft carriers and with American Israel with American defenses in the fucking region was not able to defend Israel, let alone defend the fucking oil refineries. We had so many. And even then, Iran was capable of penetrating the Iron Dome. It's not happening.